Making compost is easy. You just need 4 basic ingredients. That is the browns, the greens, water, and air. Simple as that. The browns, greens, water, and air. I use these trimmings with the twigs, dried leaves, and any other brown matter. Then for the greens, I use the weeds that we get from the farm. Any spent plants, kitchen scraps, and all that. Any matter that we get from the farm, we incorporate it also in the compost. It's also good to note that when you talk of greens, it's not necessarily the color. For example, we have tea leaves here. Tea leaves are high nitrogen, so they can be in the category of greens. So tea leaves, coffee grounds, those are greens as well. Although the color is brown, they're actually greens. So these are high nitrogen. Greens are high nitrogen, while the browns are high in carbon. When you're adding the weeds, it's always good to ensure that the weeds have not gone to seed, so that you don't introduce the seeds back to the farm. To keep the compost going, you need to add an activator. In our case here, we add the manure from the cattle or the chicken manure. So if it's dry, you add some water, and if it's wet, if it's during the rainy season, it's always good to cover up your compost so that it doesn't get too wet and soggy. I started this compost 4 months ago. Check out how it looks. This is how it was before when I started, and now this is how it is looking like. So if you see this, it's turning nicely, it's decomposing nicely. So what I'm going to do today, let's turn it and see. And if you want to check whether it should not be just moist, not wet, and should not smell. Should just be nice and moist. And you see how well it's decomposing. So to keep the compost going, we always have to turn it every 2 to 3 weeks. That actually accelerates the decomposition, the composting process, and it will take a shorter period to come up with your compost. So this is the best tool to turn your compost, a pitchfork. But if you don't have one, you can even use a spade. So let's turn this compost one more time. We've been doing this every 2 to 3 weeks. See how nice it's decomposing. Nice, moist. You see how dark and rich it looks? Dark and rich. All the ingredients incorporated so well. The wood chips, the wood shavings, the greens, the manure, and it looks so nice. So see how it's nice, dark and rich. This is what you want to achieve. This will go on for a few more weeks or so, and it will be ready for use. So let's keep turning. So there you go. Our compost is well mixed. We'll be doing it again in 2 weeks time. So I'd like to show you what will happen if you don't get the right mix of the ingredients to make the compost. You see, for example, here, this is chicken manure got from our layers, directly from our layers. It's just pure chicken manure that we mix. You see how much it's smelly. It attracts so many flies. You see all those flies. So for good compost, there should be no smell. So what will happen? This, if you incorporate this with the browns and the greens, keep it at the right moisture. It will be great compost with no smell and not attract so many flies as such. However, if this dries up, it's also good. You see, like this, it's just good, nice chicken manure. But if you want compost that is well balanced, you need to incorporate, because this manure is now very high in nitrogen. So to get a good balance, we need to add the browns for the carbon. We have a well balanced compost. So remember, we said we need to keep our compost moist, not wet. So during the rainy season, it's important to cover it with whatever material, tarpaulin, whatever material. You can even use cardboard, and keep your compost covered so that it doesn't get too wet. To have a healthy crop, you need a healthy soil, and healthy soil needs good compost. So this is quite amazing. This is great compost. Nice. Smells earthy, no smell at all. That's how you know that the compost is good. I think that's it for today. Until the next one, happy composting.